Today, I'm traveling into uncharted territories, playing a Boros Antiquities deck featuring the Discover mechanic and Quintorius Kand. All right, Future Matt here, doing a little bit of an insert video. I'm out on the bike enjoying this absolutely beautiful day instead of sitting at home editing stuff. I did record the gameplay for the Quintorius deck, and things did not go quite as smoothly as planned. I should have looked at the deck a little bit more closely. Since recording that video, I have tuned up the deck, and I think it's running a little bit better, so I'm going to do a little bit of a revisit on the Quintorius deck soon. Hopefully it'll go a little bit better. Hey, check out this guy. Look at that. Enjoying the beautiful weather just like me. But I'm still gonna put out this video because even though the gameplay did not go as I had wanted it to go, because you kind of want to win some of them, sometimes it's good to show the losses. So I hope you enjoy seeing me get absolutely destroyed in the arena, and in the future, very soon probably, we'll revisit the Quintorius deck with hopefully a little bit of a better build with better mana base especially. So enjoy watching me lose. Discover is a mechanic that was put into the game when I was still on my break. And when I came back, this deck was, or a deck that was using Discover, was around, but it wasn't at the top of the meta at that time. And then we got other stuff like Badger Mole Coven, whatever, and that completely shook things up. So this card and this mechanic kind of fell to the wayside. It is one that is going to be rotating in January or February, so we won't have it around for very long. But I thought this deck looked so interesting that I wanted to try it out. So if you don't know what Discover is, we should talk about that because this deck is kind of built around that idea. Quintorius Kand, I guess his name, -3, Discover 4. Discover 4 says, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 4 or less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost or put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if you look at the way this deck is made up, we have a whole bunch of 5 CMC stuff. In fact, we have a ton of removal that is 5 CMC. Johnny's Response, Grounded for Life, Luminous Rebuke, Ride's End, and Seized from Slumber. All of these are 5 CMC removal spells that we cannot hit with Quintorius's Discover 4. We can, of course, use these for a discounted cost under some conditions. If the permanent is tapped, for example, I think they are all if the permanent is tapped. So if we run into any creatures that have vigilance, we're going to have a bad time. But those creatures, after they hit us once, we can use these spells to get rid of them. But Quintorius is going to be hitting one of these 4 cards in our deck, the Geological Appraiser. Now this thing has Discover 3. When it hits this, it's going to spin into one of these. Now Etali's Favor is another thing that it can spin into. It also has Discover 3, which will repeat the cycle. So the idea is that we can kind of just keep stepping down until we finish the Discover chain. And at the end of the Discover chain is going to be Sage of the Skies, which is going to put a 2/3 copied Sage of the Skies on the field, or an Antiquities on the loose, which will be a creating 2/2 red and white spirit tokens. And because the spell is not being cast from our hand, it's also going to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature, on each spirit we control. So it'll only be buffing up our spirits from this. Of course, this fella over here can also make spirits. And then to round things out, we do have Catharsis. Catharsis is in the deck for, I think, one main reason, which is to put 2 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature tokens on the field, but it can also serve as a way of giving all of our stuff haste if we want to, as a kind of way to end the game if we hit something really nice off our Discover. And then we have Virtue of Loyalty, which is another creature or another card that's going to allow us to put creatures on the field. We need creatures on the field because we need something to put the Etali's Favor onto. So the Virtue of Loyalty, we can cast the Ardenvale Fealty side of the spell at instant speed on our opponent's end step, create a 2/2 Knight token, and then on turn 3 we can do the Etali's Favor if that is the line we are following. Otherwise, the Virtue of Loyalty can be put on the field at 5 mana, and that does a whole bunch of stuff because it's kind of a crazy card. We are playing quite a few lands. I think it's 25 lands in this deck, so we should be hitting 5 mana pretty easily. So this one's a weird deck. We don't have any 1-drops. Our 2-drop is just Virtue of Loyalty, and then we are praying that our Discover 3, Discover 4 stuff works really well for us. So we're going to try it out, hopefully have some fun, and just see a new deck doing some new stuff. Yeah, see you over in the games. All right, Playing some Boros Antiquities in Standard Best of 1. If you know where this deck came from, do please let me know down in the comments. I have no idea. I feel like I saw this deck somewhere before. Some creator had put a video up, but I couldn't figure out who that was. I thought it might have been Saffron Olive played a deck that's similar to this, but I took a look and I just couldn't come across that video. So, you know, if you know, let me know. And if you have any tips for this deck, because I imagine I'm going to be misplaying it. This is me wanting to try out something new. So I am venturing into this wonderful world of Discover. I wasn't in the past videos. I'm sure somebody digs through my old stuff. You can probably find a video of me complaining about Discover and how annoying it is. But yeah, it's kind of a neat mechanic now that the things have settled and the overall power level of Standard is what it is. You know, maybe it's not such a big deal. All right, so we are discarding these two things. Our opponent is hitting us with Duress and then Mind Roots. So we desperately need to get up to 5 mana, and we need to get this Quintorius on the field ASAP. If the opponent hits us with another Mind Roots, we're in trouble. Then we are banking on the top of our library, finding us a land and going with the Virtue of Loyalty. Thankfully, the opponent didn't have it, so that means that what we can do is put out Quintorius, and we can -4. This hits the Geological Appraiser. Good. We get to do 2 damage to the opponent because every time we... I'll go over that in a second. Once all this finishes, and we hit the Sage of the Skies. So we get double trigger here. We also get a Quintorius trigger again. And I think I am going to put 2 damage on to Professor Delian Fell just to make sure they cannot emblem him. So Quintorius has a passive ability. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, Quintorius deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Oh boy, what an absolute hosing from the opponent. That is... Oh boy, they gain life with the Professor. Oh. All right. GG, opponent. I don't think there's a single thing that I can do at this point. I'm going to put the Virtue of Loyalty onto the field, but the opponent having the Withering Curse to absolutely wipe us out and the Bitter Triumph to take care of our Quintorius, so we couldn't even start rebuilding with Spirits on the +1. That just worked out so well for the opponent. I'm not going to say we're done yet because the Antiquities here is good. We get to do this, and then at the end of the turn, the Virtual Loyalty is going to be putting +1/+1 counters on our dogs. So, you know, we can start building a bit of a board. That's not bad. Virtual Loyalty is an insane card. I imagine the opponent probably has some pretty good stuff that they can do with Professor Fell. Obviously, they're going to be drawing tons of cards with it, so the card advantage side of it's going to be a little bit too much to overcome. But if we don't get hit by another board wipe, and they took our Antiquities, it's actually kind of amazing how well the opponent's cards have lined up against our cards. One thing that always happens to me is that, or seems to always happen, is that I get a deck and I do some test games, and the test games go like super well. It's like, all right, time to hit the record button because things feel great, and then immediately you run into something like this and it feels real bad because it just kind of felt like the opponent's deck was destined to put us in the grave. But that's still, we saw what the deck was trying to do, and that was the important thing. So yes, the opponent was playing a cool deck. We got to see Quintorius. Next one. The main goal of today's video is to find out if this Boros Antiquities deck is worth the time, the effort, and the, of course, cards to craft it. This hand just doesn't really work, right? I need to go back and look at the mana base very quickly. I think it's fine, but the mana base is a little bit tricky. The Geological Appraiser does need 2... I'm going to try this one. It does need 2 red. I got there. And then the Antiquities needs 2 white. So it is a very tricky situation. In fact, because of that, I'm going to go out with the plains because I don't know what I want to put this multiversal passage on just yet. That's okay. So I think what this means is I'm going to do multiversal passage on plains, and I'm going to put the Catharsis out paying white. This will make 2 Kithkins. it just gets something on the field. Now, we're still kind of in a bad spot because even if I draw the Etali's Favor, the idea is that we want to put something on the field on turn 2. So if you have the Etali's Favor on turn 3, you can play it onto that creature. But we don't have red mana to cast out because we've kind of drawn very poorly. So I'm kind of thinking that we might be in trouble here, especially since the opponent is on Jeskai. If we miss a land drop on the next turn, and if the opponent makes their land drop, I think probably it's just not even worth seeing this Jeskai matchup through, because when you are against this Jeskai opponent, like I talked about it in my last video, actually, the idea of normalizing scooping. Hey man, an opponent like this probably just has my number completely. I don't think I need to waste my time sitting here going through the motions, especially when I'm missing land drops and they're making land drops. 4-colored control against an opponent who's missing land drops. Yeah. All right, GG opponent. So we're learning the importance of finding the amount of lands. We are playing 25 lands in the deck, though. Should have drawn one. Ooh, Quintorius matchup here. We need the deck to function this time around. I'm gonna be, man. What's the deal with that? What's the deal with 25 lands in the deck, and you're gonna give us this many 2-land opening hands? I'm gonna try this one because at least we have the Inspiring Vantage, and we can, at the very least, maybe I gotta do it that way. At the very least, my mana base is going to be relatively fine. Probably I should put out the multiversal passage on white there, but probably it doesn't matter. Temple of Malady for the opponent. I did not say the thing that you would have expected. And the opponent doesn't seem to have anything. Do you got to play on turn 2? 2 mana? That's it? Surely they have something. Nope. So I guess we'll just go out with the Antiquities. This time the deck is at least functioning, but I have a feeling that it might be a little bit hard to enchant this aura onto one of these spirit dogs if the opponent keeps holding up black mana. I don't like that. Okay, Witherbloom Charm to destroy one of our dogs. I don't think the deck that I'm playing is like a known quantity, right? Wow, okay. So did I just wake up on the wrong side of the arena? And now we're just going to run into people that have the exact removal that they need to make sure that we're never going to get this Etali's Favor onto our creature. Ooh. Okay, we're trying. Oh, give me a break. You have the requiting. Okay, thank God. I was about to lose my mind. And we hit the Antiquities. So this is what the deck wants to be doing, because what that did, put 2 more doggos on the field, and it also buffed up everything. So normally the first time that you cast it for 3, it will be from hand if you're playing this honestly. So it's not going to be putting the +1/+1 counters on it. But if you flash it back for its 6 mana cost, that's when you put 2 on the field and you put the buff on everything. But we're cheating it a little bit. We're double dipping and getting the +1/+1 counters every time we do it with the Etali's Favor. It's not real, right? Like, what am I queuing into where the opponent has mail? Who's playing Maelstrom Pulse? It's not a card that people just play. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable running from the opponent. And we miss on our land, so we can't get our Virtue of Loyalty or our Quintorius on the field. It would have been lovely to get either one of those on the field. This time around, 2 Sage of the Skies is fine, especially next turn if we can end up getting the Virtue of Loyalty on the field. Or at least at some point we get that on the field. The opponent is down to 8, and they do need some, I don't know. If they have another, okay, Unholy Agnes is good. Starts draining us a little bit. Furdock Core, everybody's favorite nonsense. And we are sitting here at 4 mana with literally nothing to do because our deck is just not cooperating. Why isn't it cooperating with me right now? 25 lands. This deck should not miss lands, especially we churn through the deck so well. I'm tilting out. First game, the opponent had my number. This game, that, sure. And, well, We don't talk about game number 2. Game number 2 just, well, you know. The opponent shocks in the Overgrown Tomb, going down to 1 life. They have another Unholy Annex. Okay. So they're going to go up to 4, but this doesn't keep them alive unless they need Requiting Hex, right? We need a land, is what we need. Maybe they're trying to draw into the Requiting Hex. Which, that's pretty cool if they're going to try to do that. They can take out my poor knight. Okay. Goes to our turn. The anticipation, it's killing me. Unfortunately, Virtual Loyalty is the beginning of the end step. So we won't even be able to do it. We need a land is what we need. We needed a land for the Quintorius. Let's see if they found the Requiting Hex. They totally did. Because this opponent is running way hotter than we are. Oh, I guess they have 2 mana because they have the Furdock Core sitting there. Okay. Sure. Sure. So we hit them down to 1. We put out the Sage of the Skies. I'm such a professional at saying that name by the way now. And they're going to go back up to 5 mana or 5 life. Ugh. And man, if we had hit our land there, Quintorius would have ended the game. Because of its passive ability. Virtue of Persistence, gain a little bit more life. Sure, they're going up to 7 this time around. This is some unbelievably bad running from us. And some very good running from the opponent. This kind of sucks. If we don't hit a land here, it's GG. No land here, it's game over. Man, what a card for Doc Core. 25 lands. 25 lands. 25 lands in the deck. How deep were we? 25 lands. What did I do? What did I do to the Wizards of the Coast CEOs to be like, nah. No, it's not going to function. I know this deck functions properly. I was so excited when I played the test games with it. Like, it ran so well. I'm like, ooh, things are going well. We're going to have some fun with this one. And now, this silly deck is just picking its nose. Doing nothing. We might be able to kill the Llanowar Elf if they, tap it down. We can use the Ride's End. I mean, obviously the deck is a bit of a meme and it's being silly. So that's why I don't really mind too much, like, it losing too much. But still, like, some of this running is just... Come on. We'll use Grounded for Life. We'll get rid of the Llanowar Elf that way. Ride's End, pretty good against Tyvar, because if they go to tap it down at some point, we can at least exile it with Ride's End. Okay, the opponent has everything they could want, and we are going to desperately need a lot of help here. So at least we get to put the Antiquities on the loose on the field. Next turn, we get to run out the Geological Appraiser, and then maybe from that we make something happen. I really want to see Catharsis do something. I talked about Catharsis in the past, saying it was like the dud elemental... What is it called? It's not an elemental avatar, but the elemental from Lorwyn. It felt like the dud, unfortunately. I really want to see it pop off. I wonder if I should have also just like taken the time to Ride's End away the Tyvar there. Nah. We want to put things on the field. Diligent Zookeeper. That sucks. Let's get rid of the Llanowar Elf, I suppose. So am I taking care of their board, or am I... Because I can kill both of these this turn. We are at 4. And I can't really do anything about the Diligent Zookeeper, but what I can do is I can remove Tyvar, I can remove the... I mean, I think I kind of have to, right? Where do they put this +1? I hope they put it on Tyvar. Tyvar is indestructible. But they, like, this is so telegraphed that I have removal. Like, if you cast a Ride's End on the Paw Patch Recruit and not the Tyvar in this spot, isn't that just like screaming at your opponent like, yo, he's got another piece of removal? But would you really expect a second Ride's End? Surely not. Where are you putting it? You want to pump up Tyvar. Biggest creature on the field. Aw, you coward. Okay, doke. So they put the +1/+1 on the Diligent Zookeeper, wisely seeing through my ruse, my not so clever ruse, I suppose. And that is now off the field. We're not attacking in, obviously. We might be chump blocking with the Diligent Zookeeper, but we also might be chump blocking the Diligent Zookeeper. Maybe not now. Maybe I just take my 5 damage and go from there. They're going to have, yeah. Okay, so what we need to hit is probably like a miracle off of, like we just need to chain together a whole bunch of things off this Geological Appraiser and then end with a Sage of the Skies. Okay, that's fine. We'll put it here, I guess. Doesn't matter. Okay. Spread out the trample, I suppose. Oh no, we really needed the Sage of the Skies there for the life gain. We might still be able to. What? How is every single opponent running like it's their birthday? How is this even close to being a representation of real life, right? It doesn't matter what I do here. Wow. That's miraculous. That's 4 losses in a row. Am I going to keep going? Is this a scuffed video? We were kind of stabilizing and they peel the Ouroboros. Give me an absolute break. I think there's a plot against this Discover deck to make it look as bad as possible so that people don't start playing Discover. Yeah, I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on. But maybe this will be good. It'll be good for y'all out there who get bummed out playing this stupid game, who feel like there are days when you just absolutely cannot win. I'm going to take a risk. 25 lands in the deck. Remember, 25 lands in the deck. We're going to draw one. Thank you. You know, there are days when you feel like you absolutely cannot win when you're playing this game. And I get it. It definitely feels that way at times. And I'm going to show you that it is most certainly the case for a lot of us. Sometimes it's impossible to win playing on the arena. And when you get like that, you know what you should do? When you get into a situation where you just cannot win, you turn off the game, Alt F4, right? Send a message, and you go outside, you take a walk. You go for a bike ride. You take it easy. You do not bother with the nonsense that this game can sometimes put out. That is an interesting tap down from the opponent. I don't know if I agree with it. We're going to take the time to Etali's favor now, right? And try to put as much stuff on the board as possible so that they can wipe it all out with a single Pinnacle Star Cage. That's what we're doing here. Pinnacle Star Cage. Here comes the sadness. The sadness train gonna continue. it's we've been running. Oh, it's just the split up. Oh baby. Oh baby. All of these people can just go away. There's no way that this deck lines up so poorly against so many different decks. Assimilation Aegis. Sure, bud. And we miss our 5th land. Otherwise, we would have been able to do Virtue of Loyalty plus Sage of the Skies. But no, the game's like 4 lands is all your deck. Your deck runs on 5 lands. You have a whole bunch of 5 mana things in your deck. Best I can do is 4. 25 lands in the deck. Perilous snare from the opponent. They have drawn their entire interaction side of the deck, of course. Oh, 25 lands in the deck. We hit it. So do we go Virtue of Loyalty or do we go... I think we kind of go this way. We go for the get blown out way. Bruh. What do you got for me? Okay, that's fine. This doesn't really matter to tap it down, but just, you know, go through the good motions. Yeah, Mountain's fine. Sure. Okay, hopefully the opponent doesn't have other stuff. They've gained a lot of life. They're going to keep gaining life, of course, from this Sage of the Skies. Creating 2 more bodies for this wonderful Authority of the Consuls. We do have haste technically in the deck deck with Catharsis, but what are the chances of actually pulling that off? Split up, number 2. I am legitimately cursed. Okay. Virtue of Loyalty. This is an artifact control list that has drawn all... I can't wait to publish this video. This might actually be the first time that what is this? This doesn't, nothing that's happening. There's the Catharsis, cool. Nothing that's happening makes any ounce of sense whatsoever, right? This is all nonsense. And I might actually just put out, a 7-game losing streak with a new deck because of opponents having their way with me. Split up, number 3. Is it actually possible? They did draw a lot of cards. Ooh, I mean, what the opponent's doing is actually kind of cool, right? Got to admit that. Starting talent, love it. Let's put another Virtue of Loyalty. Have we turned the corner, or does the opponent have a way of keeping all of our creatures under control? A split up is going to get us no matter what. It doesn't matter. It could be a Starcage Pinnacle this time, which, you know what? It only hits 2 of our creatures. That's not so bad. And we are up to 6, so if we end up finding the Catharsis, is it better to actually just do Antiquities? I think. Yeah, let's do the Antiquities. Yeah. Sure. I want to beat this opponent so badly. This person thinks they're the cleverest person in the room. And all I'm trying to do is create some dogs. Come on, let me create. Oh, and here comes. They're milling and they're hitting us with the Simulacrum. How interesting is that? Thankfully, our boys are in the sky. That's a lot of power, though. But we did gain quite a bit of life. Okay, we have 6 mana. The Antiquities on the loose is probably the better way to go here. They are gaining, again, 2 more life. But did I not put plus? Oh, these are not spirits. Duh. Okay, that's fine. We're building a good board. We can, of course, use these for 5 mana. And the 5 mana can get rid of one of these blockers if they end up leaving something behind. And they haven't found their repurposing bay. Probably they have repurposing bay somewhere in their deck. So it's very, very likely that they could end up giving haste to everything at some point. But hopefully they're sitting on a dead card. This is a problem. So we're kind of dead to a big hit. They're going to tap down one of the Sage of the Skies. I can only get so much damage in. The Multiversal Passage is okay, actually, right? I don't know if I want to take the risk of just putting stuff on the field that's going to get tapped down by the Braided Net or have to be chump blocking. Oh, man. That's so good. And they can still tap down something, right? Is it? Yeah, they can just do it for free. Well, the opponent absolutely had my number every single way that they could possibly want it. We can't block everything. They tap something down now. They tap down something later. So we will never have enough blockers. And so all of the... Right? Virtual Loyalty untaps things. I forgot about that. But United... The top decks are just absolutely... And they hit... Perilous Snare and a Simulacrum off. This is a bot. I just ran into all kinds of bots. This is 5 bots in a row. I am kind of convinced about that. Yeah, okay. That's glorious. Glorious running. Let's go for the 0-7, boys. Can we do it? And this deck is just, I don't think that I could have made any decisions other than maybe mulliganing. What am I going to name this one? Watch me lose my mind. Watch me get my butt smacked. Watch me be completely unable to do anything in this game. This hand... It's not good enough, right? We need the discover stuff. But this hand or this deck, I feel like it doesn't want to mulligan. It's so bad. It's so bad. Yes, I can cast this. We don't have white mana. Maybe I should have kept the first one. So, okay, now we're all in on Antiquities and the Geological Appraiser actually getting the job done. All right. At least we can cast things on... I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to lose to a 180 card deck. That's where I'm at. I mean, do you ever feel like maybe like the people on the other side of the screen are actually not real? Henri, are you real? I don't think a bot would rope me though, right? Would a bot... Imagine they program it into the bots to rope you. This is not real. I have just lost so many games that they're like, okay, well, here's the guy with the 180 card deck. Actually, it's a 187 card deck. And I love it. I love it when the 180 X deck has, I don't know, I probably should have put out the planes there, has a turn 2 card. Like, perfect mana into into it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's possible. Let's see. Let's see the magic. The way things have been going. Oh, they missed their land drop. Okay. So not everybody is living the absolute dream. All right. Our knight resolves. Do they have removal for it? Bitter Triumph? How many Bitter Triumphs are you packing in your 187 card deck? It's in a braid. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do we just hit this with the Ajani's response? You know what? I think so. Let's just get rid of it. I just don't even want to deal with the lava tongue. And what's going on here? Next turn, we at least get to do the Geological Appraiser. I'm having so much fun losing. Isn't that a weird... Oh, okay, okay. It's not so bad. So I was about to say a word there. They get rid of our Antiquities, but this is all about the Geological Appraiser. This is the Geological Appraiser show. We hit a Sage of the Skies. Okay, that's not bad. So 4 mana, put 3 bodies on the field. That's pretty good. Next turn, we draw a land. We put out the Virtue of Loyalty. If we miss on our land, we put out the Etali's Favor, and we see what magic happens from that. Henri kept a sketchy 2 mana hand. They have their Pilfer. Okay, so we are fully into drawing a land for... No, okay. Wow. Henri, I kind of wish you stuck it out. I didn't want to get my first win on a mana opponent getting mana screwed, but here we are. That's what happens. I'm definitely editing this video. This is content. This is beautiful content. But now I'm at the point where I'm debating whether or not I want to move maybe a good, if I can even get a good game with this deck, up to the front. All right, again, 2 lands. We are on the 2 lands in the opening hand curse. This is better. Hey, Quintorius finally shows up. This little elephant has been hiding. I would like to keep all 5 of these if I could. What am I saying? 5, 7. What do we throw away? I don't know. I think probably the Etali's Favor, as much as it pains me. I want to keep the lands because I need to get to Quintorius on turn 5. And the Antiquities is at least going to be a playable card on turn 3 that can maybe slow down the opponent from murdering us. Had I been able to keep the Etali's Favor, you know, Antiquities on turn 3, on turn 4 you have a play. Okay. Hey, now I really wish I had the Etali's Favor. Dang. Who knew I was going to draw the... Well, there are 4 in the deck. One of the 4 Virtue of Loyalties. I don't know what this is. Vibrant Cityscape. Is that... It's actually kind of a cool looking card, right? That art is awfully neat. That is from Omen's Path. I wonder what it is in the Spider-Man verse. The Spider-Verse. The opponent is on a Gruul deck. All right. So is this just going to be a landfall deck? Yeah. What are you doing? We're out here playing 187 card decks and trying to do discover things, and you're bringing Badger Molekub on turn 2. You should be ashamed of yourself, Sam Goku. You're also having a very hard time deciding which land you're going to animate with the Earthbend. There you go. Good job, bud. All right. We don't really have much of a hard time choosing to put out our only card. And I would love to hit this land with the Ajani's Response. Do I actually have to hit it with the Ajani's Response? It slows down the opponent's mana base ever so slightly. Mana situation. It just feels kind of bad though, right? But if they drop a land and they go 4 mana or Boride, boom, boom. And I'm not going to be able to use the Ajani's Response to get rid of the Ouroboride. So, I don't know. Bro, what's the holdup? You're not blocking with Badger Molekub. I would like to put out the Antiquities, but I think I actually have to hit the Forest with the Response. Just to slow down their mana base ever so slightly. Hoping that maybe they are really banking on that land giving them 3 mana. And the Antiquities on the loose, like just making 2/2s, it's not good enough, right? Right? Am I off base? Oh man, when I loaded up this one, I should have recorded. I should get into the habit of just recording the test games as well and just rambling. And if they don't work out, they don't work out. Whatever, you know. Because some of those test games, they were good. We were functioning. Oh, okay. Temple of Abandon. So this opponent on a budgety magic base, I guess it's not really budgety, is it? It's awesome art, though. I never really looked at the Temple of Abandon art. But they also have Badger Molekub. They're doing something unique. So, you know what? I will... Yeah. Good job, Sam Goku. What you could do, though, is probably play just a little bit faster. Virtue of Loyalty. That's okay. So... we'll put out the Antiquities on the loose. That's going to give us a bunch of spirits. Now, I kind of wish this were a Spirit Knight. It looks like a Spirit Knight. But we are not attacking in. There's no point. They just chump block here. Not chump block, but they just block. You know, we attack in. I guess I could have done that, hoping that they would put the Badger Molekub in front of this. But maybe I want to keep the Knight on the field anyways, because next turn if we hit the land for the Virtue of Loyalty, that'll be pretty good. But I think if I hit a land, I'm gonna go Quintorius. You do the fun thing, right? You don't go with the end of turn. Why is this end of turn Virtue of Loyalty? It's such a cool card, but that's beginning of end step, beginning of combat. Learn something from Ouroboride. Come on. All right, opponent finally makes their land drop. There's no way these decisions are that difficult. Ooh, the opponent... is this until the end of turn? Until your next end step. Oh. So they got 2 Ouroboride coming down the pipeline. We desperately need the 5th land. But if... what? Why? Why, opponent? Why? I really wonder if my last opponent didn't read the... whatever that Golgari card is called a little bit carefully. And maybe they thought that it was until the end step, not until your next end step. So maybe they kind of thought, oh, I'm going to put 2 Ouroboride into exile. I'm not doing this. Maybe. The opponent, hey, we're kind of drawing... we're drawing what we want to draw with the Etali's favor. We want to see some more lands. That'll be nice. The opponent, unfortunately, with the Voice of Victory, meaning that we can't do our Virtue of Loyalty on our opponent's turn. But we'll still block with our Knight and hope they don't have any. They don't have anything. There's no way they have anything. They have something. Wow. The way that opponent passed through the turn was so suspicious to me. And this has happened a few times lately where, man, the way, I mean, Arena, you kind of try to get like a little bit of an edge. Lands, please. You try to get a little bit of an edge on Arena by trying to tell when the turn is passing automatically, and you're like, yeah, there's nothing there. And most of the time, that feeling is good. Like, you know when the opponent has nothing, that the game is auto-passing, because like when I'm auto-passing, the game's just like, yeah, it's very clear that's exactly what's happening here. Oh, whoa. No, we're going to go, hang on. Reset blockers. We're going double block on this. We're going to get blown out here by another Ang, or, yeah, sure. I mean, this is fine. We're still not losing one of the doggos, but we are down to 8. This opponent is absolutely dunking on me, and it's because my deck is saying, yo, bro, you know those 4th and 5th lands that you can never, ever find? Still not finding them. You're still not going to find 25 lands. Yeah. 25 lands in the deck. Love it. Love everything that's happening here. I love it so much. There's no way that the way this deck has been functioning is a accurate representation of this deck's of this deck. It doesn't matter what we play out here. No matter what we do, they're gonna Ang it. They're gonna Enduring Curiosity and Ang. Yeah. GG. GG. This is legendary bad running. $25 lands. There is red mana in the deck. We'll try. I'm not strong enough to mulligan anymore. It's almost like, so I know in the past I've heard people speculate that with the hand smoother, once you get to certain land totals, weird things start happening with the hand smoother. Man, sometimes it kind of feels that way, right? So this thing's going to get countered, right? But I have to play it against an Azorius player. No more lies. Oh! Unbelievable. Are they going to use a Get Lost? That's surprising. That is one of the more surprising. Ooh, adding a little bit red into the mixture. Tablet of Discovery. We're dead. We're very dead. Firebending Lesson. Okay, should have saved that, but sure. So now we get to at least try the Etali's Favor and hopefully spin into something. The opponent's just going to hit, like, Day of Judgment on the next turn, so it's not such a, like, it's very futile. But we're going to try. I want to show that this deck can do some cool things. I know it can. I believe in the deck still. I fully believe in the deck. What I don't believe in is how it's running. I think it's scripted. Of course it's not scripted. Of course none of this is scripted. Of course none of my opponents are bots, right? That's bot behavior right there. That's a free win, baby. Let's go. Quintorius, you're strong, baby. Our 10th and final game. We're going to keep our dignity intact. We are going to have a gentleman's agreement with our opponent that we're both going to have a very good game. Both decks are going to function properly. This is not a great opening hand. I don't know what a good opening hand looks like anymore with this deck. I don't think I can keep this hand. It's better, I think. And I think Catharsis goes to the bottom. We are all in on these Virtues of Loyalty serving us well. We're going to get up to this enchantment. We have to get it on the field. The opponent has to have 0 interaction. Hey, that's pretty good. That means we're getting ever closer to slamming the 5 mana. We hit 5 mana around here. I don't think we've ever missed it. Is Squelcher good? Squelcher good? Yeah. Okay. Virtue of Loyalty onto the field. Etali's Favor. Etali's Favor is absolutely bonkers here. Let's hit some good cards. Let's hit another Etali's Favor. Okay, I'll take an Antiquities. Sure. It's fine. I wonder, they put them in a random order. I should try to keep track of like how many lands I also shuffle to the bottom when I do this discover thing. Maybe I'm just putting a... I wonder if that's like a weird thing. Like, imagine like the game has like kind of organized your deck in a way to be like, you're going to hit your 5th land here. This is where you're going to hit your 5th land. But by doing the discovery thing, maybe I'm just like really messing up with the algorithm of my deck and just sending everything that I need to the bottom of my deck. I wonder if that could be some logical way of thinking. Probably not. Starting town. So, do I be greedy and just wait to be able to do Virtue of Loyalty and Sage of the Skies? Or do I just run out the Sage of the Skies? I think I just run it out because next turn we're going to drop this Multiversal Passage. And probably should have attacked before putting out the Sage of the Skies. Doesn't matter. Next turn we're just going to run out Multiversal Passage, throw down the Virtue of Loyalty, and hopefully pump up all these wonderful boys. And Towel, who's playing a very cool deck, playing Goblins, of all things. That sucked. Yeah, I mean, I should have probably seen that. Of course, destroy power 2 or less, not cost 2 or less. Well, sir. Virtual Loyalty to the field. You better believe I'm getting in for 6 damage here. I don't care about my life total at this point. And they are going to put both of them in front of these doggos. That's cool. All right, all right. I don't mind that. We get a couple of 4/4s untapped. I always forget that the Virtue of Loyalty does untap things. It does make our wonderful creatures very loyal. And oh boy. Double Hexing Squelcher. The opponent has put an Unholy Annex on the field to draw extra cards. And I think we are unleashing the Antiquities. That's pretty good. We're going to attack in for 5, 10. They double block. Boom, boom. Do you think they have a board wipe? That would be devastating, wouldn't it? They got to have something pretty big here. Because we now have... I mean, this is scary. Oh, I don't like that Blood Crypt. What did that untapped Blood Crypt mean? They could unlock the Ritual Chamber. They're looking in their graveyard for... Bro. The Goblins deck playing the Deadly Cover-Up, of course, it's the way it's got to be. We need Quintorius off the top of the library. Quintorius saves me. They've just thinned my deck for me. Things are looking good. Land. Yep. So, we start making a giant knight. This knight needs to go all the way, baby. Let's go. 4/4. It's so bad. Why? You know what would be pretty good off the top right now is a Catharsis? I'd take a Catharsis. We have the mana for it. 6 mana. Sure, Grub's Command. You got it, bud. Mill 5 cards. Put each goblin from those into your hand. Catharsis. Not a Catharsis, but it is another Virtue of Loyalty. So now we have a 5/5 knight. This is not the way that I wanted it to go. I should have played it out. They know it's a Multiversal Passage. This is not the way I wanted things to go down. Or maybe it is. Maybe this is the fitting end. They have to make the demon very soon. And of course they have the Chomping Changeling for my Virtues of Loyalty and the Bitter Trial. Not real life. Nothing here is real life. Now we get drained. Antiquities. Fine. At the very least, it's exiled and we get to make 5/5s. Next turn, we can turn them into 6/6s. That's pretty good attacking. And then, of course, end step, they get bigger and bigger, and we'll put 2 more on the field. So, I mean, that's good. The Antiquities was not a bad draw. I still would have preferred Quintorius. I mean, Quintorius, insane draw. Catharsis, insane draw. Come on, deck. Sure. I mean, that's really good for the opponent because now they have more goblins that I think we're toast now. I cannot get through. I don't think Catharsis gives trample. And they're going to go up to 10. They don't attack with the demon. That's insane. It's Quintorius. At least we get to see it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Discover all the cards, although they took a lot of the cards from my deck already. And let's burn them down. Boom. 2 damage. Gain some life. Nice. Let's go discover so much more. No, 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 no. That's not it. That ain't it. It's not bad though, because we're gonna make these quite big. I don't think I'm attacking in. Let's just put +3/+3 on all of our creatures. We now have 5/6 flyers. That's pretty good. We have a Quintorius sitting there. Quintorius? How do you say it? What an absolute duel this turned into suddenly. Goblins versus Discover. Grub to the field. What does Grub even do? When it enters or transforms into Grub Storied Monarch, sure, return up to one target goblin creature from your graveyard to your hand. They returned Grub's command, of course, and they absolutely have the mana for it, so we are in trouble because Grub's command just does a whole bunch of stuff. Destroy creature, fine. Make a copy of something, sure. Okay. So are they... So all of this means that every goblin that I kill deals 3 damage to me. And also heals them. So how much damage is coming in at me? I also gain a lot of life though. Right? Keep that in mind. Oopsie, poopsie. Okay. So this is going to be 3, 4, 10 damage coming in. I'm at 23 life. That's the best blocks that I can make. Is it actually, it doesn't really matter. It's worth it to block here like this because it's going to be 3 damage no matter what. But then they gain life. But I don't care if they gain life, right? Not really. They're tapped out. I think I probably have enough damage to kill them. Boom. And yeah, sure, we do take damage here, but I think we're okay. I think. Maybe we're not okay. Maybe we were never okay. Johnny's response. What does that mean for me? Okay, first things first, we're going to do this. I have 2... How much mana do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 8 mana. So I can do Antiquities on the loose. That... Wasn't that from exile? Whenever you cast a spell from exile, Quintorius deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Am I wrong? That was a spell cast from exile, correct? Well, we are going to be hitting the thing. We are going to be hitting the demon with the Johnny's response. So is there any point in really attacking in with these two? Or do I just gain... I just gain 10 life. That's fine. I don't... Why didn't Quintorius's thing trigger when I cast the thing? Am I missing something? Am I confused about... Whenever you cast a spell from exile, Quintorius deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. This is in exile when it's... Oh, it's not in exile. Never mind, I figured it out. Flashback is in my graveyard. So it's not working the same way that Virtue of Loyalty would. Virtue of Loyalty, if I did the adventure side and I cast it, then in that case, it would be casting from exile. But it didn't quite work out that way for the Antiquities. Okay, problem solved. There is still a bit of a brain left in this noggin here, even though things have been real questionable. What a board, though. What a game. Actually, this turned into kind of a fun little one. The Boggart Mischief is such a cool card. They go after my poor 8/9 life-linking flyer, the thing that was actually keeping me alive, Sage of the Skies. And they do a little bit of draining here. They do a lot of draining here. 4. Okay. They lose life. Good. Sage of the Skies. Good. So what are we doing? We're just attacking. Right? And we're attacking with everything. They block. They can't block everything. Do we get them here? Because these are triggers. These go after damage. So we're going to do 14 damage to them before the triggers happen. And GG Towel. That was one heck of a game. That's the kind of game that I was expecting when I started this all off. Do I put this deck... do I put this game first? I don't know. All right. This might be one of the first times that I've played a deck and it ran so clunkily, poorly, that I fully believe that this deck deserves a second shot. Something funky was going on with the ladder today. Something with how it was running. I don't necessarily think it was my decisions. Of course, it's a new deck to me, so you can make the argument that maybe I was making some really suboptimal plays or whatever. I know the lands that, or the hands that you have to keep are very important. I also don't really know about this mana base. I think the mana base could use a little bit of a tuning up. So maybe I need to look at this deck, look at it one more time and come back to it, try it out a little bit more. I think we're going to see this one at least one more time in the future because I think there's something cool to the way this deck runs. I love the idea behind it. I don't think it's necessarily a super competitive deck, but I do think it should be functioning. A lot of the games, it just kind of stalled out all on its own, and that's what I want to try to avoid. Maybe figuring out the mana base could be a thing. Maybe 25 lands is the wrong mojo. Maybe we need 24 lands. Maybe we need 26 lands. I don't know. Best of one is a funky place. But anyways, I still like the deck. I still believe in it. I love what it's doing, actually. I love the idea of running, dominoing into Antiquities. And when this card, you start popping up with this card, or when you get this Virtue of Loyalty on the field, I love the Virtue cards. I think they're all so cool. And this is why I keep talking about the power level of, let's see, Virtue of, let's do like that. Why I think the power level of Standard being as high as it is such a bad thing, because you get awesome cards like this that never end up seeing any play because of Badger Mole Cub on turn 2, or bouncing Storm Chaser's Talent, or killing somebody with a Slick Shot Show Off, or throwing down a Hydra, or Earthbending enchantment, whatever you want to call it. All of these things are so insanely powerful that cool enchantments like this never ever get to see the light of day. And they are mythics. They are cards that people opened when they're opening their packs, and they're just rotting in their collection because everything else outclasses them, when these cards should be powerful enough to be played in decks. And they're just simply not powerful enough. And that's a real shame, because I had a blast playing Virtue of Loyalty. Wizards needs to do so much better in the future with R&D, making an actual balanced set. They cannot put these Quadra S power level cards into the format and expect people, I don't know, people have fun with it, I guess, but for it to feel good over the long run and to give all the cards that are available in Standard a chance. Anyways, that's a weird rant. I don't know if my point came across. This deck is cool. We're going to see it again. I'm going to try it again. I actually had a blast playing it despite getting dunked on. But that's it for this one. It was a long one. I hope you enjoyed seeing me lose. Let me know what you think, or how you deal with bad runs. We lost the first 5 games in a row, and then honestly the next 2 that I won probably shouldn't have been wins. I guess they were basically given to me. So it was a bad run, and the deck really only started to really function in that last game, and even then it was a bit clunky. But I still think there's all the practice games that I played with this, the deck ran better. I'm not lying about that. It's true. Just the way it goes. So how do you deal with lost streaks? Does it get to you? Do you put on a happy face and keep on trucking through? After all, it doesn't really matter, right? Especially if you get up to Mythic. I can understand if you go on one of those bad streaks when you're trying to make Mythic, or if you're trying to go up from Platinum to Diamond. That can suck. That feels real bad. But don't worry about your rank too much. It doesn't really matter for anything. We're all just bad at this game after all. That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that last game. I'm going to leave it at the last game for the loyal people that stuck it through to the end. Take care for now, Sarang Ipana, and I will see all of you wonderful people in the next video. Bye-bye.